squads, and we went at it together. And I ain't lying, he can fight. I'm not lying. He's a trained soldier.
Well, I met him once in Florida at a religious liberty thing, and again, like with Ted Wilson, he was taller than me, so I didn't say it. But
he wasn't as muscly as you, though.
but what I'm saying is that these we cannot change whatever has happened or whatever appears to be going on now, and if we, I don't know. Let me ask you this question: where should our energies be channeled? Should they be channeled in trying to change the things that may exist in the system, or should they be directed to spreading this gospel? And you talk, the title of this thing, the coming of Christ, preparation for that. We the church has been decimated by COVID. You know, loads of people now, they won't come to church. They get their cocoa and their chocolate and their dressing gown, and they sit down in their living rooms and go on Zoom and watch all over the world Adventism and everything. It's it's a lovely thing to be able to do, to see. And if this speaker seems to be a bit boring, you can go somewhere else and everything. But now people don't want to get out of their homes. They don't want to come back to church, where God has said, "Do not forget the assembling of yourselves together." And then, I've made you fishers of men. Go out there. If Jesus is coming back, if we are now coming to the return of Christ at some point, where does our priority lie? To try to change the system that we are grown up in, or to actually warn the world and tell them of the love of Jesus and bring them in? Does that sound like soft compromise? If they're doing that, if the organisers are doing that, how much energy are we going to spend on trying to change that?
And start what you said about how the mentality to church has changed just since COVID. Even like people that have decided to return back to church, you see them masked up, they're not talking to anyone, they don't shake anyone's hands, the fear, you can see it in their eyes. Please don't talk to me, please don't sit next to me, please don't. And it's like, even way after this, even with the Omicron, it's like way after it kind of calmed down, you still see people tense, and it's like chill, like yo, like, do you want to come to church? Do you want to be with your brethren? Do you want to? It's like you just want to prolong the fear. You want to prolong
the establishment that's doing it today. I go to a particular church, and the minister there, he actually promoting this agenda, and I said to him about, you've got the rapid kits, and it's got ethylene oxide in there, and I showed him. I didn't go to the church. I went to him, and I said to him, he went mad. What, you a doctor? He went mad, and he told me, we used to work at the conference together, both of us, and he told me that I must bring my exemption and show him personally. I said, come on, man. And the whole thing of it, he's one of the trans-European division guys, and you can only have one black there a year. So obviously he told me, we only work together, I'm a Christian. You told me you're a Christian, why do I need to go and see the exemption pass when the government is saying, even the government said you can't ask somebody for it if they tell you you've got the exemption pass. But going back to Adrian's question, Adrian, I don't think that you're wasting your energy to try to change the system, because the system's already set up, and it's got key men within that system that are working, and they're not, as Jesus said, they're hirelings. They're not there for to help the people. They're there to oppress the people and keep them in slavery, and it's about the money. And that's why I said something in the beginning about the trans-European division. The trans-European division is just set up to get that £6 million a year from the blacks. And the SEC, the SEC president, after he left, he came out and he put the paperwork out there, the paper trails out there. They're just about that 6 million of the black Jesus money. And that's what I'm saying to you, the whole system is rigged.
Well, if that is the case, if that is or if that is not the case, what can you do about it?
Yeah, but
what can I do about it?
It's not for you to, it's not, as Jesus says, if they persecute in one city, flee to the next one. For me, my aims and objection is to get out the understanding to, not so much the world gets a chance. Remember, probation closes first for who? Who does probation close first for?
For us.
Close for those, right? The priests. Even on the Ezekiel 9, you know,
Well, even that
Israel should be
comes.
judged first.
yeah.
Even that comes into to challenge, because what does it lead to? Again, I spoke in the beginning about date setting. In 2019, March 2019, some big shots got online on doing videos, from the American side, saying that probation was closing on the 10th of March 2019. Everyone's kind of forgotten about it and everything. The 10th of March 2019, probation was closed, and sort of kind of, that's it. Might as well spend your money and go on Marks and Spencer and buy some lovely food. The thing is that when you focus on a date, and there's been some who within our church, when we look at other people who keep focusing on dates and setting dates and doing studies to say, well, I've worked this out and I've worked that out, I've worked this out, and therefore
you're listening to
Imagine
what
a Sabbath school.
what Vi. He's
yeah,
A Sabbath school service, this woman is literally sitting there saying 2027 in the church.
sorry, because
I'm just sitting there like,
what Vi didn't say, like he said it. He's alluding to it.
he's alluding to it,
He's
not saying
alluding-
exactly.
But I'm going to say something to you guys.
You believe it?
Ooh, have no laugh. let me say something to you. I'm going to just say who I am here.
Yeah.
I've been around, not as long as Adrian, and no, not as long as Adrian. I don't know as much as Adrian. You know what I mean? He's right. No more.
you're just trying to say I'm old.
No. You got a good wealth of knowledge. I don't lie. You got a good wealth of knowledge. You got a good wealth of knowledge. You're all right. But what I'm saying is that I've been around, and I remember when I left conference, I got involved with Present. It's called Present Truth. It's really in quote, so-called Present Truth. So I've heard about dates. I remember there's a guy that me and the cameraman went, and we thought he'd be good for the team. We went and we spoke to him and his brother, and they came in, and we think to ourselves, listen, you know what? We're gonna get a good grasp of men that will understand. Now this guy, he went off on the rails, and he was saying that I think it was not Jesus coming. He said the Sunday law will be in 2014, and now I challenged him on it. I think I said, look, come on, man. I was laughing. I said, just a bit of humour. I said, come on, demonstrate to me how the Sunday law comes in 2014. And he never ever backed off it. 2014 come, he made up some story, and this wasn't God's hand putting over it. This is just really Satan, and he got into the group, and this group was all around the world, and he shipwrecked a load of guys.
This is what happens. This is what happens when pride comes in. I have a cassette at home, and I'll play it to anyone who's in doubt. Charles Wheeling, you remember him? I remember on the tape, he said two things. He said that I am the most listened to Adventist in the world. That's the first thing, his qualification. Not on the Messenger of God, I'm the most listened to Seventh-day Adventist around the world. And on the other tape, he says that Bill HR 47, we could have a national Sunday law in by 1987. Here we are now. I was married in the year 1987, and where are we now? This is 2022. We haven't got a national Sunday law in, and Jesus hasn't come. What happens? This is what I think. This is my view. People begin to get a bit of knowledge. They begin to become, fairly good speakers around the place.
Yeah.
People praising them up and everything. The next thing, this same pride that happens with Lucifer. I must be something. I must be something. I will set my throne above the stars of God in the sides of the north and everything. And so there's this fascination. It was saying, was it 2020, was it? That same philosophy, not the year, but was it 2520?
I want to say something.
Okay, we'll come back.
I want to say something.
Let me say this. That people, we're always trying to find the new thing. The new exciting thing.
Anticipation.
That's right. The Bible has given us the stuff that's there, but what we want to do, we want to find out. I've worked this out through my prophetic mathematical calculation. This is going to happen in this year, and when that year comes and's gone, where is that person who said this thing? God.
It's almost like it's ego based, and they want the fame. Like, I'm the one that's discovered this. Everyone rally around me. The Millerites. It's that same kind of.
I would lie. I've been in a group, and